All right, today I'm going to talk to you quickly about adding text into your collage. So I have a bunch of layers going here. I have a major background, I have a mountain, I have another mountain range happening, and I've edited all these different area layers. I've added circles right into the image as well. And then I just threw in recently a self-portrait as well, but I haven't edited that. Um, Really quick before I get to text, I just wanted to run through, deleting the background area from your main image using a couple of different techniques. So the first thing that you want to do if you drag the image directly from the desktop into Photopea is you're going to want to go to Layer Rasterize, right? Mine is already rasterized, but you want to click Rasterize Smart Object so that it's ready to go. All right, it can be edited, parts of it can be deleted and things like that. So I'm going to go over here to the magic wand, which is under the object selection tool. Okay, so I'm going to click on that, go to magic wand, click on there. I'm going to leave my tolerance at about 40, see what happens. So I'm going to click in this area. You'll see that it got most of that sky pretty well, and I'm going to hit delete to remove it, right? I'm going to come over here, do the same thing, hit delete to remove it, come over here, delete. It's going to work really well in those areas where there's a lot of contrast. The problem starts to emerge when you are in the green area. So if I'm going to come over here, notice that these pixels are just too similar to these pixels, so that's just not going to work up here. There's a couple of different options that you can go with. You could try playing around with the tolerance, but my guess is it's never going to be very perfect. So I'm going to Command D or deselect, and I'm going to zoom in, and I'm just going to show you really quickly that you would need to kind of, physically draw around your area. So I'm going to use the lasso tool for that, and I'm just going to use the regular lasso tool, which is going to let me just basically physically draw onto here. So I'm holding down and I'm doing as good as a job as I can of getting close to the edges of my face. I'm going to get a little bit of bumpy here because I'm right by my beard, and I'm going to come around and just kind of grab that back here, right? So, and then I can hit delete, right, to remove that. Down here in the green where it's, contrasting with my collar, I can probably go back to the magic wand, select that and hit delete. See how that works there? Because there's enough contrast between pixels, right? But on this side, I'm gonna have to do the same thing as I did with the lasso tool. I'm even gonna start up here a little bit where you can see that there's some trees and things. And I'm gonna try to rely on some of the edges I got with my magic wand, but and then the slower you go, the better you're going to get on this edge. And there we go. I'm going to come around, come up, over to connect, hit delete, right, to remove that. And then as I said before, I can probably go back to my magic wand and hit delete to remove it. So just really quick, I just wanted to show you that. And then you can see there's a little bit of fuzziness around here. You can use your eraser tool to kind of clean that up, right? And that's going to be with your brushes. It's going to change size with your brush. So I have to deselect really quick to make sure I can get that stuff. So I'm just clicking and dragging just like I would a brush. And if you wanted to, you could come in and clean up some of these other areas with the lasso tool or eraser or magic wand, whatever you want. But I just wanted to show you really quickly if you were having issues with that part of this process. Okay, so I'm going to do a very quick edit to this. I'm just going to, first of all, make it, let's just go with a gradient map. I was going to go black and white, but let's actually let's play around with it. Let's go with 3 colors, okay? And I'm going to, go back to that gradient map, right? Click here and then double click here to change these colors. And I'm going to start with some really dark blues to almost go black with it, go a little darker. And I just want it to be monochromatic. So I'm going to make it shift to a lighter blue as it moves over. And then let's just go to a white for my third color. All right, there you go. You might not be happy with the way that looks. I'm not too happy with it. I would probably make some changes to it. And you can do so as well by going into adjustments, maybe even playing around with the levels and curves, brighten it up a little bit, make the shadows a little darker, creating more contrast, things like that, right? Okay. And then you could play with moving this behind stuff. So let's say we could try playing around with this and do some different blending modes to it to make it blend in a little bit more. This is pretty interesting. You know, maybe let's try that. Let's go to edit, free transform, hold shift to keep it proportionate, right? Let's drag it around. I want to move most of the head, the neck below the mountain line. Let's drag out a little bit more. Make it a little bit bigger. Okay. So there you go. Hit enter. And now I'm going to hide my navigator. That's your navigator. It helps you zoom in and zoom out as you need, right? So let's do some text. Go over here. You got a text tool. And make note of what layer you are in, because wherever you start the text, so I'm going to click on my text. I'm going to come click over here. That layer is going to show up above the last layer you were working, right? And I'm going to type. Let's type Deftones is the first band that came to my mind, a band I used to listen to quite a bit. And right away off the bat, I know that I'm going to have to make this a lot larger. So you come click up here and you see you have options. Let's just like make it larger so you can see it, right? Cool. All right. So if you hit the move tool, you can then move it around, make changes to it, free transform it, things like that. Let's try different font. So when you go back to your text tool, you can highlight your font and let's change it. Clicking up here to the left where it says Deja Vu, and you have considerable amount of options to kind of play around with, look at, right? Right away, capture kind of stands out as maybe being a good one. Capture it, it's loading. It's taking a little bit of time here. And that looks pretty good. You can also change the color of it. You can do that up here. See where it says 135 point. It's regular. These are all different options that you have, right? You can warp it. We'll get in that in a sec. I'm going to change the color. I'm going to go with a yellow. I'm going to go off, kind of off white, off yellow color. We got a little bit of that hinting down here, so I'm going to try to bring it up there. And then you'll see that it changes into that color. So I'm going to go to Edit, Free Transform. And I can, you know, move it around. I can make a lot of changes to this font. I can resize it however I want, kind of playing around with that. So let's do that. And then if I bring it up into here, one of the things I was going to try to do is, let's see what happens if I drag that down below the portrait image. See, because this is cut out, that kind of hides back there. You know, that could be something you want, something you don't want, but you can like move it around. You can hide part of the text, you know, behind stuff right there. I like that. I like how part of it's missing, but we can obviously still clearly see what it is. The other options you have here are to do some warps. Click on a different type of warp, right? So if we want to just do a regular arc, which is pretty normal, you'll see that you get options in terms of like how much it bends and things like that, right? You can change, like it kind of fades in. Maybe you want it to kind of move with the circles. a little bit, right? Have just come off a little bit. I'm going to leave that at regular, okay? And then again, you go to your move tool and you can move that around after making some changes to it. And again, if you are on this layer and you go to the text tool and you click, it's going to start basically with your last settings. So I'm just going to write the word black as if it were like a album title. And I'm going to go with a different font for the title of the album per se. Okay, and I'm looking at all my different options here. You can try that. That's what that looks like. Again, we can kind of go to the font color. Maybe you want it to actually be black, although that would be ironic to have so much color in an album called black. You can place it in different areas, drag it over this so that this is on top, and then you can move that over this area. This might actually be a good area for a title. You can also play around with turning it into an image. Here, let's try that really quick. So I'm going to go with more of a bold font. Let's try this. This is pretty bold. Bungee. Okay. And so if you go to layer and rasterize that, it's actually now an image that can be edited just like any other image can be edited. Let's just use the mountain range. So I'm going to pull this into here. I'm going to edit, free transform it to kind of fit within this mountain. Okay, see that? I'm going to hit enter. Okay, so I'm going to go on this layer. I'm going to use my magic wand, and I'm going to click into the black area, and I'm going to do that again and again and again and again. And then I'm going to click on my mountain, and I'm going to go to edit, copy. I'm going to make a new layer, bring it up to the front, edit, paste. Okay, and now I'm going to move that over, and you'll notice that it actually cut out the mountain because this is actually an image. I'm going to hide that. If you hit the eye, it hides that layer. So now I have this kind of like text that has an image in it, and I can make changes to it. Again, just kind of showing you some of the things that you could do. There's a lot of things that I would want to do to clean this up, but I'm just showing you how to do, again, some of the basic moves. I don't really like how much of the face is kind of hiding into the background. I would probably play around with that, make some changes there as well, bring it into the foreground a little bit more. I actually think it looks a lot better without the face in it right now. So those are just some ways to play around, cut things out, use text, and again, good luck.